helps with and what that hurts with. So without further ado, so we are here. We are with you. We are back in action. It is Wednesday, and we are day 2 back in 75 hard. So it's been fun. It's been a couple months since we have not been doing it, but we are back into it. So of course, eating clean, no drinking, 2 workouts a day. I've actually got my 2 in already. One outside for 45 minutes, one inside for 45 minutes. Peely's got 1 in, which is great. So I'll get some time with the kiddos later, and Peely will rock that out. A progress pick, 10 pages to read, which is still on my docket for the day, and then we'll move from there. But really, that leads us into what we wanted to talk about today. What did we want to talk about today?
What are we talking about today?
Talking about productivity, where that's good, where that's bad, where that can help us move along, but also where that can keep us behind.
Well, I mean, I personally think you should always be productive, whether it's, getting yourself to your next level, whether it's, and you know what, productivity could also mean resting. You're being productive when you're resting as well, because you are keeping your energy and you are storing up more energy so you can take on your day and you can do those things that take you to the next level.
Yeah. And so when you think about productivity, it can go both ways, right? If I heard today, basically, if you do it, it gets done, right? And it sounds so simple, but it's actually the truth, right? If you go in there and actually start something, you're going to put the work in. And so many times we lead back into the conversation about procrastination the other day. A lot about procrastination is just not actually doing. So how do we be productive? How do we get things done? Well, we just start doing. And when we start making things simpler than they are and stop trying to make everything so complex, well, that's when that leads to having the progress, to having the ball that starts now rolling downhill instead of us really trying to push this insurmountable object up the hill. So many times when we talk about productivity, there's the good and the bad. We can be productive doing things that are not leading to our ultimate goals. And that sometimes makes us busy, right? Doesn't make us really getting to the task, but it's still productive, right? We're productive in doing something, but maybe we're productive in an area that maybe we have to harness our energy and put that into the area where that needs to have really the full steam going ahead.
Well, I'll pinpoint what you just said. I mean, are you being productive or are you being busy? Like, are you just filling your life full of busy work? Like scrolling Facebook, that's a lot of busy work. That's just you looking at things that most of the time have nothing to do why you actually got on Facebook in the first place. So if a lot of you business owners or entrepreneurs use Facebook to run your businesses, to up-level your business, then you should be getting on Facebook. You should have a time period that you are on Facebook or on social in general, and you should pinpoint what you need to do, the groups that you need to go to, and the groups that you want to go to have discussions, have the best communications with the best people, and then maybe give yourself 5-10 minutes to do that scrolling and stop. Because past that, you are just being busy. You're not being productive. There's a way to use social media for being productive, and simply scrolling and letting yourself get sucked into the rabbit hole. Now that is not productivity.
So what's some of the topics here that really could help us in terms of productivity hacks? What are some of the keys here? And of course, psych for you guys watching here. We got you on YouTube. We're on Facebook, the Jason and Peely Project, also over at Jason and Peely, our channels as well. And we're on Twitch. Still don't know what that means. Nobody's reached out. So we are there doing something. They keep sending me emails after that we've accomplished something on Twitch. I don't know what that means. So again, we're 3 days into that. I don't know what that means. If you do know what that means, and your phone's telling us things, please reach out. Give us some.
Leave a comment right now.
Yeah, give us some guidance, because maybe you have some magical thing about what we're doing there, but we don't know. So if we are there correctly, great. If we're not there, great. Something's happening. But back to productivity hacks. Mm-hmm. Tell us, what would be 3 or 4 things that stand out to force the hand on productivity, whether you like it or not?
Well, I talk about this a lot. Scheduling. Schedule yourself. I schedule out pretty much in minute detail what I do daily. weekly, monthly. Does it always get done? No. Even during the day, does it get done? No, but I know it's there. I can go back to it in the evening. I can see what I missed. And if it's something important, then it gets shuffled on to the next day. But if I hadn't hit it that day, then obviously it wasn't that important. So at the end of the day, if I didn't do one of those things, I have to ask myself, so why was it on my schedule in the first place? Okay, it's a good why. Is it important enough for me to do, or can I leverage someone else, either a VA or someone on Upwork to do it? No. Is it something I have to do myself? Okay. Is it important enough to make it my one thing tomorrow? Okay. This is why you use a schedule. It's not to get a schedule and like have to follow it to the T. No. It's so you know exactly how your day is supposed to be run. And that is what gives me the productivity that I need on a daily basis.
Yeah, so we got some awesome people. Hey, Garrett, Chris Jackson was on the show the other week. So welcome back, Chris. Brian in there, friend from college there. So on that front,
yes.
It's something here to really set up fail safes. Right now, I actually put Alexa in the room here just because now we're not in our office, so we're back in the home office. So I've been setting up alerts, right? So I had a certain amount of time that I have to be productive on a certain angle. So today there was a few different things that I had to tackle first. So I had a reminder from Alexa coming up when I had to pivot from that next task, right? So it gave me a point where I could fully commit. I didn't have to worry about other things that were happening because I knew that I was going to have this fail safe of an alert coming up. So you could set up things in your alarm there where you have that time to put in there, because sometimes we feel like we need to block off these 7 hours, right, to do some magical task and get some huge thing accomplished, but it's not feasible, right? You can't. And that's why large to-do lists of 500 items don't happen, because they're so over encompassing that they become a stop before they're a start. So if you have this goal, this thing you want to do, this big task, well, okay, so start biting off chunks, right? It's a thing of, you don't eat an elephant sitting down and at one meal, you do it in small bites, right? So that's same thing with your big plan here. So, today, Peely and I are working on a couple of different things from a writing perspective, so we had a set start to it, but then we had a set finish, right? So that it wasn't at this point where we're going to get lost on this rabbit hole of having all these things come up. But again, now we had that done. So it's productive in an area that's going to be beneficial for us and also hopefully help you guys. But again, now we're getting part of that task done so we can start moving along. We start stacking the wins.
So I'm going to kind of into number 3. I'm kind of going to latch onto something that you said.
We just kind of went like A, B, 3, but or something to that fact. But we're all there. We're all there moving along. Yes, exactly.
So Alexa, she is an accountability partner.
She's listening right now.
Yeah. Either whether it's Alexa, Google, Siri, someone your husband, your children, find someone to be your accountability partner. If you have this big, hairy, audacious goal, you don't tell the world about it, because it's not special anymore. But tell 1 or 2 key people and ask them to keep you on track. That is a key way to keep productive and keep going on your path.
Yeah, and so many times, we had our monthly coaching call with our students last night about multifamily. Sometimes we set up these things where we make it too complex, and then that leads us not to be productive in the angle, right? So we just got back to it, just got real simple. Okay, let's break down the property. Let's understand exactly what the property should be. Let's not thinking in all these points that we need to be 57 steps down the road, because that kills our productivity right now, because we're worried about a step that's not actually happening. Now, we've talked about this before, but you got to live right now, right? You can't live in the past, right? Because then you're going to be depressed. You can't live in the future because you have anxiety. You have to know, okay, this is what I need to be productive in. What is that next viable step? What is that thing I want to do? And what is it that I have to achieve? Get done right now. Put that on your books and get that done early. Get that done as the first thing, because as we let things go throughout the day, all of a sudden now you're on the phone with customer support, or something comes up that you have to jump into, something unexpected comes, then you push it to the next day, right? Because if it's hard and if it's maybe scaring us or making us fearful or not, it's a little bit outside of our comfort zone. Yeah, it's going to push us, right? But we're also going to find ways to not do that, right? Not do that thing that may be slightly difficult. But if you get it done early and just get it out of the way and tackle it head on, you're going to feel so much better, because now you're going to have the moment and take that out of your brain space, so you can now focus on everything else that you can get done within the rest of the day.
So I'm going to segue into something that I
So
had
we
to
did
be
A, B, 3, and D. So on A, B, 3, and D. So now we're going to segue
into something that I had to use all the productivity hacks to get done, because my friend Jillian Sidoti and my friend Jeffrey Holst asked me to write a little.
They were on the show last week, right?
They were on the show last week,
Yeah.
and we talked about this. They asked me to write 2,000 word, just kind of like essay about how I was dealing and how I was coping and how I was viewing this virus, this pandemic, this season that we're in. So the book finally came out. It's called Coronavirus Collective, Messages of Love, Light, and Hope. It is a fantastic book. I am about 20 pages into it. I haven't even read my part of it. And the authors that I've read so far, I've read Jillian's, I've read Jeffrey's, there's Frank McKinney. He's amazing. Jeff Holst talks about his trip to Kilimanjaro, how he summited the mountain. And that was, I mean, I knew he went on it. I followed his journey on Facebook, but getting to read his words, it was fantastic. And just like, it was heartfelt, and it was happening. He went on this journey at the beginning of everything that was happening with COVID. COVID had just hit China, and there had been like one case in Africa, and it's just amazing. So if you guys can pick this book up, it is amazing. It is everything we talk about. The mindset that is in this book will help you on your journey.
So yeah, love it. Of course, I've read my wife's spot. It's awesome. So I'm sure if everything is in line with my wife wrote here, then it's an awesome book, which I know because I know a lot of other people in there. So dive in there, find good ways. And if you're missing that energy, you're missing that point, well, find ways to install that energy, find ways to instill that productivity. The book you're reading right now, the blanking on it, but you are reading about productivity. And it's not the one thing, because the one thing is grade one right there, but the focus right there. But Atomic Habits, Atomic Habits, building in Atomic Habits. I am not reading that book, but I have heard the author on numerous podcasts. But the way it works there is that you create habits that are just more wins, right? And you start setting up the new life, the new alternatives to that point, but you do it in small chunks and stop thinking about what the end result has to be, right? I want to lose more weight. I want to start eating better. Stop thinking about all the results. Start thinking about the action steps to get you to the result. And that now creates the productivity, because daily now you're taking actual steps, not looking to achieve a goal when the goal is so far out there into the horizon.
So the reason why I brought up the book in productivity is because I love writing. I love it. I love it. I love it. But I write on my own schedule. So Jeff and Jillian told me like on a Monday, and they're like, yeah, we need your work done by in a week from now. I think they gave me like, I don't know, 6 or 7 days. I was like, okay, well, 2,000 words. I can do that. That's easy. 3 days in, I had nothing. 4 days in, I was just like, okay, I just need to sit down and write. And I wrote and I wrote and I wrote, and what I put in there, I feel like I gave it my all. So please, please, please pick up the book. Let me know how I did and if I gave what you needed to hear.
So yeah, love that. Love that. Follow up here. We have Ben Leibovich coming on the show yesterday, tomorrow. We had Darren Sager yesterday, and usually good friends. We find one, we find the other right here. So on that fact, Ben's coming on the show. Wait till you hear. Of course, Ben's out in Phoenix, just crushing on the multifamily. Just has a great perspective on it. Just doing large things out there. We're gonna chat. We're gonna talk a lot about what he's doing right now and how his business plan is really working in this environment and worked before, right? So that's gonna be an awesome conversation. Of course, go over, hit subscribe on YouTube. We got a ton of people that's been reaching out for us there. That's been super awesome, guys.
I actually had to stop and say thank you, because about, I don't know,
was I not saying thank you? Was I saying?
Yes,
I was giving them orders.
But I want to say thank you too.
Yeah, good.
So thank you for subscribing. Thank you for boosting our YouTube channel. Thank you so much to everybody who has supported us.
Yeah, we had Jerome Myers. His podcast is out today with us. Super awesome. He just is really doing a ton in multifamily, and he came from an engineering background and just said, I don't like. He worked for a company, and the company was making him fire a bunch of people every Thanksgiving and Christmas. And he was higher up in a company and just kept being in this position where he was like, we're doing fine. Why are we doing this? And he just couldn't agree with the mindset and just the way the business was being operating. He said, I'm out. I'm out. I'm gonna repurpose this into a life, into a direction I want. Found multifamily, really dove in by getting action, bringing value to somebody else. And that's lots of times where you want to get in something. Well, find ways. Don't ask for help. Find ways to bring value to that person. So if you have come up like, how can I help you? Well, now we have to create roles, create jobs, give you some guidance. We don't know what you're good at, right? We don't know what you can do. So we're kind of guessing where you could be of service. But at that point, if you can bring value to somebody, bring the next opportunity, help them understand the market, think about anything in your business, create a website, make them a brand, do overlays like you see here on the show, any of those things. And you can bring that value. Well, now you become a service, and now you can offer something instead of asking for something. Too many times we lead with the ask, but really you'll get a lot of value from just finding out how you can do better for others.
So thank you so much for listening.
All right. We are there. Happy Wednesday. We will see you tomorrow. Bye now. We got everything else. And yes, we are there. Go out, make sure you get the book. Awesome book. And we had people watching on Twitch today. Don't